What up, everybody in internet land? Welcome to today's episode of the Louisiana Housing Authority virtual meetup group, guys. Some of y'all might know me as the executive director of the Louisiana Housing Authority, a corporate branch manager with Geneva Financial, which is a national mortgage bank, a speaker, financial educator, co-host of the Mortgage Wise radio show. And I have to my right.
I'm Veronica Chambliss. I'm the Housing Director of Louisiana Housing Authority. And I'm also the co-branch manager with my husband at Geneva Financial.
Awesome. Listen, guys, I'm excited today. We have a group of speakers and homeownership advocates that's just some of the most influential and just experienced real estate investors in Southeast Louisiana. And also we have a guest that's from Texas as well, right? So very close to us, you know, the state right next door to. We always running for Hurricane Katrina and other hurricanes, right? So, you know, today, guys, you know, these speakers took time out their busy schedule to come on and to be able to share free information, guys, be able to share some knowledge, some wisdom, and also some understanding of personal finances and real estate investing, right? And so I want you guys to really, you know, think about this for a moment. This is 2022, right? A new year. And a lot of people made some resolutions for New Year's, right? And so oftentimes we know that the resolution that we made, right, kind of fades out over time. So I want you to think about this for a moment. What if, right, that you go and you plant a seed in your backyard, whether it's a sunflower seed, a seed to grow, whatever fruits or vegetables you want. You have it in good soil, right? But you're going to need two things. One, you're going to need solar energy frequently, right? And you're also going to need water frequently. So think about this. The thought that you had, that New Year's resolution, that goal, that wish, that burning desire that's within you, right? That reality that you want to obtain, that was a spiritual seed. It was a thought. It was a spiritual seed. And so that if you thought that thought, it's possible you could get there, right? You already been there. There exists. It's possible for you to go there. But in order for that spiritual seed to grow, you have to frequently give energy to it every single day. Randy, what are you talking about? What do you mean? Well, what I mean, what I'm talking about, you have to think about that reality that you want often. You have to talk about it. You have to get around people that's already doing what you're doing so you can stay engaged, empowered, and excited about it. Mm-hmm. So today's topic, guys, I'm just excited about it. So we're going to dive right into it. So we have some of our guest speakers, and I want you guys to take 30 seconds to 45 seconds. Tell us who you are, what you do, and then that way we can start the topic. So we're going to start with Mr. Moore. Mr. Moore, come on, sir.
Hi, everybody doing? My name is Elridge Moore. I'm a real estate investor and private lender in the New Orleans area. I have about 7 years of experience, along with my partner, Anitra Preston, on the call.
Welcome, Mr. Moore. Welcome, sir. Mr. Landry, come on in, sir.
Hey. Good evening. My name is Garrett Landry. I'm a real estate investor, and I own container companies. We buy and sell shipping containers. We also build them into 1 bedroom, 1 bath, affordable housing. And I also co-own Smiley's Grill with my father. If you're familiar, it's right in New Orleans East. Come check us out. We got some good food.
Awesome. Right. Welcome, Mr. Landry. And Ms. Preston.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Randy and Veronica. My name is Anitra Preston. I'm an 18-year real estate investor, real estate developer. private lender, and a licensed real estate agent.
Awesome. Welcome,
Awesome.
welcome. Mr. Uzziah.
What's going on, guys? My name is Uzziah. I own over $1 million in real estate, and my job is to help people get out of debt so they could create generational wealth.
Awesome, awesome.
Absolutely.
So listen, guys, let's dive into it. Veronica, tell us what's our first topic we're going to discuss today.
So first, we're discussing attaining financial security through real estate investing. And our first topic is going to be, why did you decide to become an investor? So that's whether if you are investing in stocks, crypto, and or real estate.
Awesome. So we're going to do a reverse conversation this time. So we're going to start with Mr. Uzziah and work our way back around.
Okay, so the reason I started getting invested in the real estate is because I realized that the money I was making from my 9-to-5 job wouldn't cut it. When I graduated from college, I had over $95,000 in student loans. And I realized, man, you know, this job money, it only goes but so far. And I was watching my family work really hard throughout their lives, but I noticed they never had any money to travel. They never had enough money to really build a legacy. And so I always promised myself that I would start creating different streams of income, because I realized that the average millionaire has 7 different streams of income. And that's the reason why I got my first real estate property in 2014. I own real estate, stocks, crypto. I'm just trying to level up, man. And I want to
Right.
be showing people how to do it along the way.
That's right. And that's true diversity, right?
You got to do that because, you know, if you count on any one thing, if the market goes under in that one thing, you might be in trouble. So that's why I try to have my money in a few different places.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Ms. Preston.
Yeah, for me, it was a little different. It was intentional for me. When I was in college, I set out one semester. I thought I wanted to work at Home Depot full time. And I saw what the average life was like, right? And I was like, I didn't want that for myself. So I went back to school, and what I did was I would, schedule the maximum amount of classes that I possibly can, right? So what that does is that triggers you to get the maximum amount in the student loan. And then I would come back, and when the drop date came, I would drop those classes, and I saved the refund checks to have my first down payment when I purchased my property back in 2004. So I knew I didn't want to have that average life. I knew I didn't want to work a 9-to-5. Nowadays 6-7 days a week or whatnot. And I had people around me, at Home Depot that would encourage me to purchase real estate, to purchase rental property. But as far as the formal training, I didn't have it. I just jumped right out there. I graduated in 2003, and then the following, it took me a whole year to find my first property, and I jumped right into a 203K in a triplex at that in Central City. So that's how I got started.
Awesome. Thank y'all for sharing your story. Mr. Landry.
Yeah. So I'm still fairly new to in real estate investing, but I kind of grew up into this world. My dad, he sprays insulation, and he also invests in real estate. So it kind of came second to me. I was always at work with him, whether it was in a new construction, learning, seeing what he's doing, seeing a different process of building a house from the ground up. And from there, I got some experience in college through internships, and I seen that I'd like to be on the owner side of the real estate rather than as a whether it be in the construction or as an agent. But I seen that the owner side is more where I kind of fell into, and just like stocks or crypto, it's just another vehicle to build wealth. And one of the biggest things I'm, interested in it now is the tax advantages. So, for my business, it only makes sense for me to, start diving into investing, buying real estate so that I can, acquire the tax advantages for it through my business as well.
Right. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Mr. Moore.
Yeah, for me, it was just to take care of my family and also to get back my time. I knew real estate was the vehicle to do that. It was actually my first introduction to any business. So pretty much just buying and hold property to get back my time.
Right.
That's right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's kind of similar to us. You know, we were intentional about it. Why? Because we were already in corporate America, busting our tail, making them extra money. You know what I mean? So I'm like, you know what? After I leave this bank, I'm gonna make money for myself. This is what I'm gonna do. So we put together a plan to eliminate debt, and we were intentional because we have children, small children. We wanted to travel, so
Right.
we mapped out a plan, took
Right.
action, and stuck to it. So
Right.
Right. I mean, I remember that decision came to me very, very clear. I remember going through Hurricane Katrina. I was 25 years old back in 2005, and I was making pretty good income. I was a stationary operating engineer for the city of New Orleans, but I didn't have a financial education, nor did I have a financial plan. So money was going right out the door, right, as soon as it came in. And I found myself when Hurricane Katrina hit, sitting in Atlanta, Georgia, in the hotel room, feet against the ground on the floor, just staring at the news. And I remember seeing a grocery store near my home. It was called Ferrero's, right there on the Legion Fields and Robbie Lee. Some of you guys might know what I'm talking about. And I remember seeing the storyline and seeing water above the roof line. And I remember thinking to myself, well, Randy, if that grocery store is underwater, then you have no home. Your home is right there. And what are you going to do? You know, I had less than $500 in my bank account. So I'm thinking to myself, how am I going to continue to pay for this hotel room with my family? And I remember thinking to myself, I have one stream of income, and that's that job in New Orleans, and it's underwater. So what am I going to do for income? And so I had, felt like butterflies that was in my stomach that literally turned to bats at some point, right? And so at that point, I realized that I can never allow that to happen again, to have one stream of income and don't have any other resources. So for a year, I started working on myself, personally development, right? I started working on myself with my finances, gathering up information, looking for information. And oftentimes we go into real estate investing or any other subject matter, and we do research on YouTube and Google, and we find some information that's not accurate or outdated, right? And so I had to compile a lot of data and kind of weed out those information that wasn't the right information. But lo and behold, finally, within a year, in 2006, in fact, I bought my first home. It was a single family home. And then 30 days later, I bought my first duplex, first cash flowing duplex, 30 days later. But it took a commitment, a decision, and just constant studying my craft to be able to learn these strategies. And so that's, what got us, started as well.
Yeah.
So let's talk about our next topic. I love it, guys. Thank y'all for sharing it.
So the next topic, and for us, we are diversified as well. We own stocks, crypto, but all of us on this call, we are like real estate investors. And for us, that's what we do. We heavy in that, right? So the topic is why real estate investing is vital to attaining financial security. So
we can work our way around the next. So we're going to start with Mr. Moore.
All right. It's vital because it's a way to create passive income. I started off with real estate wholesaling where I did quick flips. Then I started buying, holding property. So, it could get you all types of income, passive income and quick hits. So, if you take that money to invest in stocks, you could diversify the way you make money. So I just think any type of income you want to generate, you could do it through real estate.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I remember coming to a couple of your homes. I was on your email list and got to the home. We had about 20 people there. I was like,
that's key in wholesaling is to build up that buyers list.
That's right.
Yeah.
Buyers list, and it also helps you to build capital to start investing and doing flips yourself. So for beginners, if you don't know anything about real estate wholesaling, that can be a place where you can begin, right? So you want to learn as much as you can about wholesaling to get you to the next level to start flipping.
Exactly.
Right. We started there, then we got into flipping, and then we got into building custom homes.
Right. Yeah, I credit wholesaling for a lot of our success now because it taught us so much as far as marketing, sales, things about real estate. you know, and also we built a lot of people, a lot of connections throughout the way. I would have never met you guys if it wasn't for wholesaling.
Yep.
Right, absolutely.
That's right.
Mr. Landry?
Yeah, add me to your buyers list if you
All right.
yeah. But go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not wholesaling right now.
Oh, you're not
but
wholesaling
yeah,
anymore?
Graduated. He
All right.
add
graduated.
me to the Vertical Capital newsletter.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. But yeah, just like bouncing off what you're saying, you know, there's so many ways to make money in real estate, you know, and you know, the way I look at it is it's vital because there's only so much real estate available, you know, and as the population grows, it's only getting more scarce and more valuable. So, you know, the more real estate that you can own, you know, you can, you know, there's just tons of ways to make money using real estate.
Yeah, I totally agree. I tell people all the time, like in particular in New Orleans, we sitting between two bodies of water, the Mississippi River and the Lake Pontchartrain. Ain't no more other land to develop.
No more.
Not making no more land.
Right.
You're right about that. Yeah.
And Miss Preston.
So I think it's probably one of the easiest tools to build your network, right? And also you can also use it as a tool, right, to purchase other property, such as you know, taking a HELOC out on your taking a home equity line of credit out on any one of your investment properties or even your home. And getting that boost that you're looking for. You know, a lot of times we think we got to save our way to wealth, but we sitting on the wealth by keeping the equity in the ground. You know, of course, that comes with learning how to manage the money. But if you pull some of your equity out in a line of credit, I'm not a fan of cash out because you only can use that one time. But when you pull the HELOC out and you pay it down, you know, a lot of times it's a 10-year interest only. You get to reuse that capital over and over and over again. You know, if you use $20,000 10 times, you just gave yourself access to $200,000 that you sitting up here thinking you got to work 9 to 5 and save 10% to get to that. But you can use your real estate as a financial tool to accelerate yourself.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I love that about the HELOC. And not too many people have that conversation around HELOCs. And that's an important tool. You know, that's, you know, me and Veronica, we started with equity in our house. You know, when we first purchased our home, we had a good deal. It was a FHA 203K loan that we actually used. And we bought the property for only $50,000. It was a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2,500 square feet. And we only had, I think, what, $35,000 worth of work. You know, we talking about updated kitchen, paint on the wall, you know, just knickknack stuff. So we was all in when we closed for about maybe $90,000, $95,000 all in. Our note was very, very low, but it was worth $160 the day we opened up the door. And so we ended up refinancing a little later, pulled some of that cash out. And I always joke with Veronica. She always like, stop saying that. But I always use the monopoly money, right? You know, that get out of jail money, right? Because for us, it was always we didn't have something in order. You know, in the real estate game, the traditional way of thinking, how we was back then, how a lot of people listening to us right now, the traditional thinking is that you have to have a 700 credit score. Your debt to income ratio got to be nice and tight. You got to have, you know, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 to save, and then et cetera, et cetera. So we always had one without the other. Our credit score will be high, then we ain't have the money. Then all of a sudden we get the money and our credit score drops. So it was always like, well, damn, what we
Right.
Right.
Right. So at the end of the day, finally, when we was able to get in a position with all three in order, instead of juggling, we was able to refinance and use that money. And like you mentioned, you know, having your own personal home, that's a critical tool to build wealth.
So for people out there, like Miss Anitra said, hey, she believe in a HELOC, which is a home equity line of credit. It works like a credit card, right? So whatever your credit card limit is, let's say if it's $10,000, you charge $3,000, you pay the $3,000 back, and then what? That money becomes available to you again because that's your limit. Your limit is $10,000. So for me, I wasn't too much of a fan of a HELOC And only because I worked in the bank and I understood the criteria, what they're required but by all means, if you can meet the criteria, you know how to manage your money,
Yep.
you know you're not gonna put your home in jeopardy, a HELOC is the way to go.
Right. In other words, don't go buy a car with your HELOC. That's what we're trying to say.
Right.
Yeah. You should always just use it. That's gonna that 3,000 that you're gonna put out. It needs to be placed somewhere where it's gonna make more money.
Exactly. Yep. That's the managing part of it.
That's called good debt.
Yep.
Correct.
Mr. Uzziah.
I mean, y'all said it all, man. I'm just taking it all in. I'm over here wanting to take notes myself and get off the panel. Yeah, man. You know, I think the thing that makes real estate so great is that real estate has made more millionaires than almost any industry, right? So there's obviously something behind it.
Yeah.
One of the ways that people make a lot of money through real estate is through appreciation and equity. So just to give an example, I bought my first real estate investment property back in 2014, and that was in North Austin. And at the time when I bought that, Randy, I bought that particular property for about $230,000. This is a duplex. And at the time I was being told, oh man, you're overpaying. Don't put up that much. But I was like, nah, I think this is going to go somewhere in time. And within 5 years' time, the worth of that property went over $500,000. And so to me, it's about being able to get into prime real estate locations that do appreciate in value. I also believe that real estate helps to create financial security because it helps to save you money. You know, it's not about how much money you make, it's about how much money you keep. And one of the ways that I was able to save money through real estate is by buying a duplex where I was able to rent out one side and stay in the other. I was able to save money for myself because I had a tenant that was paying towards the mortgage every month. And then on top of that, you get a lot of tax benefits. And I know, you know, we talk about financial security for ourselves, but I'm definitely thinking about generational wealth. I know that's the goal for all of us. And one of the biggest reasons why I love real estate financially is because it's something that you can pass down to future generations. You know, I think that especially when we talk about, you know, building up our communities, we really need to stress the importance of buying land and having the ability to pass down wealth to future generations. I got my first son on the way, man, in March.
Oh, congrats.
Oh, thank you. Long time coming, man. Been married for 10 years, so
that's awesome.
God's looking out.
Yes,
but you know, I'm definitely hoping that my son can inherit this real estate that I'm leaving behind. And so not only does it become a wealth creator in my generation, but hopefully one that's even greater in years to come, because as we know, the cost of living is going up. So that's my thought.
Yeah,
that's right.
I think is a great add-on, you know, and that what you said at the end, it remind me of you, Mr. Landry. You know, I know your father very well, been knowing him a long time. I've seen what he's done. He worked very, very hard, but also very, very smart. And just to see that, you know, you so in tune and so interested in what your father's been able to do, you know, to be able to pass that torch or that those assets over to you. So, you know, one of my favorite books say you leave an inheritance to your children's children. And so if we all focus on that, then every generation get better and better and better. You know, one of my favorite books also tells us that, you know, Israel was given the promised land. It wasn't the sky. Land was extremely important for us to be, and still is. That land back then was still called real estate. So let's go back to next topic.
All right, so the next topic, what are 3 critical real estate investment tips you would share with your young self?
Ooh. So we're going to go, we're going to swing back around. We're going to start with you, Mr. Uzziah, and we're going to come back around.
Well, I'm excited to hear everybody's answer on this one. But to start this off, I would say, if I could speak to my younger self again, the 3 things that I would tell myself is, 1, get to a 760 credit score as quickly as you can. It just provides better opportunities for loans and you get a better experience. You know, it's one thing when you're trying to hustle your way into the real estate market and you're just begging somebody to give you a shot. But if you can walk in already having your credit at the top level, a lot of lenders will be trying to throw money at you. So it just makes it that much smoother of a process. The second thing that I would strongly recommend is that you reverse engineer your plan. Reverse engineering your plan means that you plan for tomorrow today. And see, y'all know a lot of people, they talk about how they want to invest in real estate, but they don't think down the line about it. So time passes and then you kind of say, you know what? I should have got into this 5 years ago. So instead of letting time pass you by, because time is a critical factor when building wealth, start to think about what kind of wealth that you want as you get older. Start to think about, what type of lifestyle that you want to have. Start to think about the type of properties that you'll need to get you there. And then once you're clear about the type of wealth that you want for you and your family, then that's when you can come back to the future and say, how do I connect the dots from where I am now to where I want to be? So if I want to be able to reach a certain status, maybe I need to be buying real estate every couple years. You'll never know that unless you're planning in advance. The third thing that I would say, and I'd strongly encourage, man, is to build a power team. Life is so much easier when you have the right people around you. And so when you talk about investing in real estate, if you work with a lender, make sure that this is someone that you know and trust. If you work with an agent, make sure that that agent is ideal. You want to make sure that you have everybody around you that's working in your best interests rather than working against you. In my last investment property that I just closed on 2 weeks ago, my personal assistant showed out. My wife did an excellent job. My agent was phenomenal. But if I would have not had that power team all working together, there's no way that I would have ever been able to close as successfully as I did. So I think a lot of times people think, oh, it's just about me, myself, and I. But even when you're trying to level up on a personal scale, you still need a team working in the background to help you get ahead.
That's right. Absolutely. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Miss Preston.
So I don't think I have three. I have one, and this is really based off my experience, right? By the time I was 29, I had like 13 properties. And I was a knucklehead. I was equity stripping, taking equity out, doing whatever, buying motorcycles, going on trips and stuff like that. So I didn't think future forward, right? All my properties were acquired prior to the 2008 crash. So my advice would be, and this is in any business, right? You need to have reserves set aside. I hit a hard streak during that time. I didn't have the reserves. I lost some of my properties due to foreclosure. So I have that experience as well. So, I mean, you need to have the reserves. You need to know that even if you buy the property, right? Like my first property, I was all in at about 80,000 and it appraised for 180. But still, you still got to make that mortgage payment, regardless as to whether tenants are in and out there. And I had that property prior to Hurricane Katrina. So, I had Hurricane Katrina, then we had the market crash. But I had no reserves. And what happens is when you have no reserves, you fall into, I got to preserve self, right? So now you're looking at your primary residence. That has to be taken care of first. Your car note has to be taken care of first. And everything else is secondary. But if I had those reserves and also, the will to persevere, right? I gave up. I didn't want to persevere. I wanted to just go and hide under a rock, which I did. And that caused me to lose, some of my properties. So the one thing is you need to have reserves. You need to calculate your expenses for each property. In any business that you have, you need to calculate your monthly expenses and you need to have at least 3 to 6 months. I would go all the way to the 6 months reserve specific for those particular units that you have.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Really much appreciated. Man, you guys dropping some nuggets tonight, bro. I'm telling you, Mr. Landry.
I'm taking notes. I'm taking mental notes right now, man. There's a
You
lot
and I
of-
both. Ron over there taking notes. I'm in my like the
Yeah. But bouncing off what you were saying, Uzziah, man, starting early, there's only, knowledge is infinite, but I feel like for me, at least, I'm always searching for, as much information as I can get. And it's kind of like pushing my timeline. I'm early in it. I'm just starting, buying my own real estate now, but I feel like I could have started earlier. And if I did start earlier, I'd be in a much better position now to buy even more real estate.
awesome.
Right.
So yeah, definitely starting early.
If you don't mind sharing, Ms. Landry, how old are you, sir? 'Cause I think it's very important for individuals to know that.
Yeah, I'm 25.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. And Mr. Moore.
All right, I tried to think long and hard for 3 answers, but I only have 2. All right.
Bit on it. You frozen.
You can hear me?
You good. You
Yeah.
back.
Yeah. I say I try to think long and hard for 3, but I only have 2.
Yes,
So
sir.
what I would tell my younger self is to buy property sooner, because I was a part of 130 wholesale deals in a 5-year period, and I came across some really, really good deals. So I would have definitely bought property sooner. And being in this market in 2022 with the prices that skyrocketed, I could have offloaded some of those properties and been sitting really, really good right now.
Yeah.
And the second thing is personal development sooner. I'm a big advocate of reading and researching for knowledge. I think that's why I'm here today, because I had to basically transform myself into a business person, because I was the college athlete. I started real estate investing at 22. I'm 29 now. And personal development is a huge part of my success.
That's right. Yep. So I wrote down 3, and one of them was that personal development and starting early. So if I can speak to my young self, I would say, you know what, get your mind right. Personal development, because I knew my environment, you know what I mean? I knew, well, I didn't know then, but I know now that my mind wasn't in the right space. So I would also say control my spending. That's where my mind was. Okay, I'm making this money. I'm spending this money, I'm gonna be like, I don't do that now, but what I'm saying is, and also the number one thing for me, if I can go back and change time, the only thing that I would change is instead of renting an apartment, I would have purchased a home. Because when you go and you rent, because I was just so anxious to move out on my own, but when you start renting, it's like a rat race that you can never get out of, because you don't have, the opportunity to save as much as you could. But I mean, if I can go back, that's the only thing that I would change. I would have preferred to buy first and rent.
Right. And for me, you guys hit, some very powerful topics and subject matters. And so for me, I think it's more or less one, if I had to go back, I need to know exactly what I want my life to look like. Like I didn't have a dream. I really did. I became an at-risk youth growing up in the city of New Orleans. Next thing you know, I was in trouble. I was a teenage father that was struggling by the time I was 19 years old. So I didn't have a vision. I didn't have a dream. I didn't know exactly what I wanted my life to look like. So I would tell my younger self, listen, what do you want? How do you want your life to look like? Details, like how much income do you want to earn monthly? What type of home you want to live in? Who do you want to help in your family and outside your family? What the resources that you have? What do you want? And that's the problem with most people. They never made the decision to decide what they want. So that's number one. Number two, to be able to believe much bigger and much sooner, right? A lot of people is afraid to believe because of their past experiences, right? Or their current experiences. But we have what we call cause and effect. The effect that you have in the day, the fruits that you bear in the day is from a cause. And the cause is from your thinking, right? The thinking you had in the past. So when your mind is renewed and you're fresh, right? So now you're thinking differently. You have a vision now. You know exactly what you want. You're clear. And now you have to build up that belief and build up that faith. And again, one of my favorite books said that faith comes from hearing and hearing and hearing the word. And if you hear any word long enough, you tend to believe it. So in order for you to hear that word, you got to speak it out of your mouth, not softly, but speak it. Speak that word out of your mouth so you can hear it over and over and over with repetition. That builds up the faith. And then belief, you only believe what you see. You're in the environment of what you see, what is it, lack, limitation, frustration. If you're in that environment, you believe that. But if you have a vision, if you're in that type of environment, but you visualize yourself outside the environment, thinking from the place that you want to be. So now your vision is your eyes now, and you're starting to believe something different. And so thirdly, for me, it's going to be once you know what you want, you built up your faith and your belief, now just go all in. Just give it 120% effort that you have. Go all in beast mode, like Eric Thomas said, just go all in. So that's what would be my 3.
All right. So the next topic is what are some creative financing strategies?
So we're gonna go and start with Mr. Moore.
All right. My favorite tool is the bond for deed and lines of credit. I know Anitra mentioned it. So if you could get any lines of credit, personal lines of credit, you can get a line of credit on your stock portfolio. That's my favorite too. We use the bond for deed every day in our lending company because we use it as a financing mechanism. And I don't want to talk about the structure and everything, but yeah, so those are my 2 favorite.
Awesome. So share with us a little bit like let the people know what is a bond for deed, if you don't mind.
A bond for deed is like seller financing. So for example, if you own a property for $100,000, I could buy the property with terms. So we could agree to $5,000 down and I pay you $95,000 over a 5-year term at $1,000 a month. So
Gotcha.
It's just seller financing.
Gotcha. And so in other states, it's known as contract for deed. Or land contract, right? Or land
or agreement for sale.
Yep.
Correct. Exactly.
So different terminologies, but the same meaning.
Same meaning. Thank you for sharing. Mr. Landry.
Yeah, bouncing off of that, I would seller financing is incredible. I'm always looking for seller financing deals. That's actually how my dad got started, bond for deed, seller financing. And I'm looking for some right now. But I'm doing some deals with some developers. They're a little bit bigger deals. Like for one of them, we're doing the federal building, if you're familiar, right near the Danziger Bridge. And one ways that this deal is working is they're using historical tax credits, affordable housing tax credits, and then we're also finding little small things like facade grants and energy grants. Energy is they're giving like 150 grand for using LEDs and just energy efficient appliances and stuff like that. So some of those things they only work on bigger deals, but those type of developments are they're still within range. You know what I'm saying? You start small, but you can always look big. But there's also different ways to finance these big deals through different avenues like those.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. Ms. Preston.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to piggyback off Mr. Moore and the other gentleman. The seller financing, the bond for deed, and just to kind of go into it, basically with the bond for deed, the seller keeps the title. The title doesn't transfer. So if you don't have that 700 credit score and you cannot qualify for financing the traditional way, this is a good tool to get your feet wet, because one, it keeps the seller, the seller keeps their title and they're comfortable with that. And then you get to be able to be a little bit more creative in how you structure your deal. And again, the line of credit, I can't beat that up enough. Any type of line of credit. If you don't own a home, you vet some banks, call Chase, call some of the larger banks and ask them how you can qualify for a personal line of credit to get you, the capital that you need to move forward.
Right, and that just kind of piggybacks on what Mr. Uzziah talked about. Having that credit score as high as you possibly can, so when you go to that bank and request that information, you're prepared. Yeah. So, Mr. Uzziah.
Yeah, really great points from the panel, man, especially when we talk about those private financing agreements with the seller. I definitely believe that if you don't have it all together, in the sense that your money looks good for like a traditional loan, I strongly recommend doing one of those seller agreements, because it can be a lot less rigid. A lot of times when you go through the banks, man, they might run you through the ringer. And it's a lot better when you can just meet a person, shake hands with them, and work out a deal privately, rather than even involving the bank from time to time. So I definitely recommend that. One of the things that I am big on is using other people's money, which can also come through crowdfunding campaigns. Mm-hmm. There can be times where you have ideas for getting like an apartment complex, like Veronica mentioned earlier. It doesn't just have to be you. You can actually launch a campaign online to just make known the property that you're trying to get, and you can incentivize people to fund that loan through a crowdfunding source. I think that's going to be a big one over the next decade, especially since we're seeing a lot more money being exchanged on the web. Another one that I think is going to be very big is the difference between personal lending and business lending. Even if you had properties that you bought through like a personal loan, let's say you bought a home through some type of conventional fixed rate loan, you can still have other loan opportunities as a business owner through different types of loans. And so I remember when I was looking into properties last year, I had opportunities to be able to get jumbo loans just because I had an LLC established. So sometimes if you cannot get there through your personal assets, one of the best things to do is to have a business set up, show and prove that you're doing business on a regular basis, and then that will qualify you for another round of loans that may be more flexible than you would have been able to get under a personal account through a traditional fixed rate mortgage.
Right. Yeah.
Awesome. And so I would just add to that is that, I like, number one would be hard money. And it's called hard money because the interest rate's a little bit higher. The points may be a little bit higher, but the criteria and guidelines is so much easier. For example, hard money loan, all you need is basically an ID, a business entity, because it is a business loan. It's not a personal loan. It's a business loan. So you just need your articles in incorporation or articles in organization, right? You will need your bank statement, obviously, to prove that you do have enough capital to close on the deal. And the hard money lender, if you are a fix and flipper, right, it will actually help you to do both, pay off the seller at the closing table and have the cash in the rehab budget sitting in the escrow for you to do your rehab, right? It's 12-month terms. And so the criteria for credit score could go all the way down to 620. The traditional bank, you need, all day, 700 all day. So that's one strategy.
And 20% down.
And 20% down, right? And hard money, we do it all the time, that we only do 15 to 20% down just on a purchase price. But the rehab budget is 100% financing, right? The bank is not going to do that because the bank want a home that's move-in ready right now, right? The second is non-QM loans, right? Basically, it's asset-based loans. And it's a hybrid between the traditional banks and hard money. So that asset-based loan, that non-QM means non-qualified mortgage, right? The government is not buying the mortgage on the back end. Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac is not buying that mortgage on the back end. It's just non-QM. And so now you can get a more favorable interest rate, more favorable origination fees, and we do those all day. And then the third part would be just like you guys was talking about, is just leverage, OPM, other people money. You know, at one point, Veronica and I, we had like 6, 7 projects going on at one time. Some of it was new construction in New Orleans, Gentile area, and some of it was rehab. And people were trying to figure out how was we doing all that. Well, listen, we was working strategies, like Brother Uzziah said. You know, we had a property, was a good deal. You know, coming from the wholesaler background, we know how to find it. We know how to get to that seller, got the contract locked up, and we started soliciting or showing benefits of why people should work with us. And so you'll be amazed, guys, who listen, you have a lot of people that's making a lot of money right now, even this in the economy, and they don't know where to place their money. They don't want it sometime in the stock market. And so they're just sitting in the bank. So they're looking for an opportunity. And so Veronica, we was partnering up with these individuals, and we was using 100% of their funds, but we was using our skills, our talent, our resources. And we was partnering up with them, doing deals, and we was able to get some things done. So creative financing is a big topic in real estate investing. I just encourage each and every one of you guys who's watching it, who's even remotely interested in real estate, start researching creative financing. There's a lot of different strategies. Obviously, we can't all share everything on this platform right now. And what's our
So the last topic, it goes back to what I was saying earlier about we have to get our mind right, right? So what role does belief play in becoming a successful real estate investor?
And so we're going to start with Mr. Uzziah.
Self-belief is everything, whether it's in real estate or anything else in life. If you don't believe in yourself, nothing's going to happen. You have to see yourself there long before you ever actually get there. And I think a prime example of that for me was getting this last property. You know, when I went through this last property, Randy and Veronica, there were so many times I wanted to walk away. I didn't think that it was going to work in my favor, but I kept staying in the fight because I reminded myself the devil is trying to stop me from owning over $1 million in real estate. This is meant for me. I just have to keep pressing forward. And I know I've worked hard for this, but if I did not have that self-belief, you could easily be intimidated and walk away. And I think that's the reason why many of us don't strive for greater levels beyond where we are today. We think that there are a lot of barriers, but the biggest barriers are in your own mind. And I think one of the great things about having self-belief is that you don't need to get anything else from somebody in order to get it. And you don't have to pay any money to have it. It's already within you, no matter how much or how little money you have. You just have to be able to see it within yourself and then manifest it into real life.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I think Mr. Moore mentioned that, like me and Veronica, big on personal development. Listen, guys, I was so broke at some point, I walked past the bank and tripped all on. Did you hear me? Right? The creditor would call the house and my children answer the phone. My daddy said he's not home. Look, we've been broke, all right? So at the end of the day, when you have that belief, right, you see yourself in a different environment, you start to feel different. And when you feel different, that takes the procrastination out, because there's nothing, to back up a little bit. One of my sons had called me. And he was like, I said, how you doing, man? Everything's going great, Dad, blah, blah, blah. He said, but, I got a problem in some of my areas. I'm trying to accomplish some goals, but I feel like I'm procrastinating. Like, I don't know. I said, well, I understand. And I said, I appreciate you for sharing that with me. I said, but procrastination is just, you don't believe. Whatever you're doing, you just don't believe. So for a quick example, like I told him, I said, and we told this to the rest of the children too, because we always have, family meetings, right, with our children, education meeting and just financial meeting and just family talk. And so I shared this story. I said, now, what if you can start a race knowing that you can win, right? What if somebody told you, listen, if you win this race, this foot race, you're going to earn $1 million. And oh, by the way, in 30 days, your face is going to be all around the cereal boxes, and you're going to have endorsement worth over $300 million. And all you got to do is just go and start the race, and you're going to win. Guaranteed. The little angel then told you that, right? Now, if that was the case, how big would you play the game, right?
Tell everybody.
Right. How many people would you tell? Like, tune in. Like, I'm gonna be on channel 8 tonight. Tune in. Right? Everybody's gonna know about this, right? But what if somebody tell you, yeah, but you're gonna be racing against Michael Jordan and LeBron James and Kobe Bryant? Then that belief level can go down a little bit, right? You're not that motivated to tell everybody. You don't want to get whooped up, right? But what if they tell you, well, actually, you're gonna be racing against 5th graders, right? So now that belief level is high. And so, belief is everything, guys. And so, with that being said, Miss Preston, we will come to you.
Yeah. So first of all, for me, it's believing in Christ, right? And knowing that when he designed me to be successful. And reversing some of the things that I was taught in the church. The Lord's Prayer, one of the lines is, "Thy kingdom come on earth." So when I realized that he wants to bless me now, bless me on earth, and not earth to heaven. It's not, not earth to heaven. We want heaven to earth. And, he's going to establish his kingdom right here. So just knowing that right there quiets the voice of doubt for me. And that encourages me to take the first step, right? And I know when I take the first step that the door is automatically gonna open. I don't know what the next, you got to take the first step. I don't know what the next step is a lot of times. Elridge and I started this lending company and really didn't know anything about it. But I could tell you it's been very successful in its first year, just because I trusted him, in knowing that he would show us the next step. So for me, if you gotta have something to believe in order to believe in yourself.
Awesome. Much appreciated. Thank you. Mr. Landry.
Yeah, y'all were speaking facts tonight. Definitely. But yeah, believing in Christ, believing in yourself is key. I do think that, you have to be able to believe in yourself to make a decision, be informed in your decision, definitely do the homework behind it, make sure you're ready to make the decision. But you can't, once the decision is there, you gotta take that leap and, leap of faith and make the decision. A lot of people get, like you said, procrastination, whether you're unprepared or it's the fear of, is it going to work? But, that decision is everything. You have to be willing to fail to succeed. So definitely don't be afraid to make that decision. Believe in yourself and be confident in it.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Moore.
All right. Yeah. All y'all had great answers. But like, belief is everything to me. Like, it's all that I lean on in good times and bad times. Believing in my faith. But as far as believing in myself, I feel like that was built for me. I believed in myself in sports, but I didn't believe in myself when it comes to business. So I had to really develop myself to start to gain that confidence. And once I realized that I could do it, any hurdle is nothing now. I could just tackle it because I have that confidence from past history of overcoming adversity.
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good. So with that being said, guys, we want to come back around. That was our last topic, but we're going to start with Mr. Moore. Just tell us, how can individuals get in touch with you? What service that you provide, if any at all, so that way individuals have some resources and some tools and some takeaways from this training today.
All right. You could get in touch with me personally on my Instagram at Elridge Moore, business, Vertical Capital on Instagram, Twitter, Vertical Capital. Our website is under Nitra face right there, verticalcapitalus.com. And our services we provide is working with wholesalers. We're trying to influence wholesalers to buy property and put it back on the market. to maximize the spread of their deals. I know Randy and Veronica, if you had a company like a Vertical Capital when you were wholesaling, you could have made those spreads a little bit bigger if you would have just bought it and listed on the market on the MLS. And for fix and flip investors, if you get in a pinch and need some extra money to finish the construction or to do acquisitions for a property, we could help you out in that aspect as well.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. Mr. Landry, how can an individual get in touch with you, learn more about the containers and affordable homes project that you have?
Yeah, you can visit our website. We've got a website. We sell shipping containers. We're also building them into homes. If you're interested in maybe some investment property, you want to rent some container homes out or just explore the option, give us a call. Our website is containercompanies.com. If you're, let's say you're renovating a home and you need some storage space, some secured storage space, you can call us. We can drop a container off to you. Like I said, containercompanies.com. You can email me or call me. I'll attach my information. That way you guys can reach out to me.
Awesome. And tell us a little bit, briefly about Smiley's, the location, and then also installation company.
Yeah, so Smiley's Grill, we're located in New Orleans East, right in the beginning of the East, at the end of the Danziger Bridge or the end of the High Rise Bridge, right on Dowman Road. We serve breakfast all day. We've got daiquiris, we got hot plates. Tomorrow, our special is gravy steak. It's one that's everybody loves. We got some good food, so come check us out. If you're around and I'm around, call me. I'll show you some container homes that we're working on. It's just located right behind. We've got an RV park right behind Smiley's that we're building some container homes at. My dad has an insulation company. He sprays insulation. So if you're in need of insulation services, energy efficiency, or you just want to learn more about it, give him a call. He's well knowledgeable on that. And he talks about it all day long. He'll love to talk to you about it.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah,
I learned a lot from your dad.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just an expert in the industry. So appreciate you. Thank you, sir. Miss Preston.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna go too much into detail. I think Elridge already talked about, Vertical Capital. We're a lending company. We're local, no credit checks. It's asset based. You're looking to close quick, we could get the job done. We're looking to deploy 1.2 million in capital just in this quarter. So we got the money. If you're in need, again, reach out, www.verticalcapitalus.com. We don't have any hidden fees, no points. We're not shaking, we're not out here to play games with anybody. We'll respond to your request within 24 hours or less.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And Mr. Uzziah.
Well, if you want to learn more about how to create generational wealth, please go to my YouTube channel at The Uzziah Show. You can see that in my name tag here on the screen. I do my shows on live streams 6 days a week, all the way from Sunday through Friday between 7 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. In that show, you'll learn how to start your own business, how to invest in real estate, crypto, stocks, as well as other investment accounts. And in terms of the services that I have to offer, I offer free mentoring live on my show. I also am a best-selling author. I have a book called The How to Succeed Survival Guide. This book breaks down how I paid off over $95,000 in student loans 2 years after graduating from Baylor University. You can also check out my website at blackmenscareer.com. I offer personal one-on-one private coaching just to make sure that you can reach your goals and become the very best version of yourself.
Awesome. Thank you. Veronica?
And I am Veronica Chambliss. I can be found on social media at Veronica Chambliss. Also, my direct number is 504-715-4388. And I'm online at veknowsmortgages.com, and that's VEE-knowsmortgages.com. And
you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Mr. Randy Chambliss. Randy Knows Mortgages, knows what it is, knowsmortgages.com, right? We provide everything from traditional lending, FHA, conventional investor loan. We have hard money available and that asset-based non-QM loan available. Now that we have the information from Mr. Moore, Miss Preston, now we can be able to collaborate them more as well to offer even more products. So, we're glad we was able to make that connection. So having said that, guys, my direct number is 504-270-2783. You can call and text me. I'll just be respectful at the time, right? But having said that, guys, I always want to leave off with a quote. And in fact, I'm gonna share a quick story. I shared it before, but I think it's appropriate because we was really talking about belief on the same topic. So the quote first is, "You deserve," and this is about Lisa Nichols, right? If you guys never seen her or heard Lisa Nichols, right? She was on A Secret a long time ago. I'm making like the lady old or something. Right?
Oh.
She was on A Secret movie a while back, right? Phenomenally, she tells her story. The story damn near make you cry because the things she had to grow through as a single African American lady, sister, right? So she said, "You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be joyful. You deserve to be celebrated. But in order to do that, you must first fall madly in love with yourself." And the story goes like this. There was a young man, two young men. It was a wintertime. It was outside, and the ice started to actually form on the water. So they started to play on the ice and sliding around with the tennis shoes. And one of the little boys fell in that, and he started just fussing. Just reaching out for help and crying and help me. He was going down so aggressively, and he had this friend that was watching him, and he started to move from the hole that he fell in into the other parts of the ice. So his friend started to beat on it and beat on it and beat on it, couldn't get it done. So he turned around, and then there was a branch. He ran to that branch, that tree, snatched the tree branch off, and then he started to aggressively finding his friend. He started doing like a little circle with that tree branch. Over and over and over, he kept going and started beating the ice, beating it, scratching and beating it. Finally, the ice broke, and he pulled his friend out for safety, and his friend was alive. And by the time the paramedics got there, and everybody was around, people was asking that question: how was this possible? How could this little scrawny kid take that little small stick, beat the ice so much to save his friend? And then there was a wise gentleman that was there standing around listening. He said, "I can tell you how he did it." And everybody asked him, "Well, tell us." He said, "Because there was nobody there to tell him he could not do it." So it goes back to that power of belief. So listen, guys, we hope you have some value. That's our objective, to give you some value. God bless. Enjoy the rest of your day on purpose. And we mean that. Take care, guys. And thank you, everybody, for the panel.
All right. Thank you.